Alright, here's the scratch track. I'm going to probably record audio over this because the audio is likely very bad in my phone microphone, but I wanted to show this process for making the tape shelves. These are the tape shelves. They're a convenient way to store your tapes with, they look like VHS tapes because they are VHS tapes, and they're also a good way to use up junk tapes. In collecting tapes, a lot of times you come across bulk tapes, things that come with other things, and sometimes you end up with stuff you don't need. Here's a National Geographic about spiders. This is just, I think that's Bambi, and then Snow White. Disney tapes, of course, despite what the Disney Vault marketing would lead you to believe.
Because on January 31st, Disney will stop selling The Jungle Book, Sleeping Beauty, and Fun and Fancy Free. So before they go back into the Disney Vault for years to come, hurry! Hurry! Don't miss your chance to own these magical Disney videos before they disappear.
Are the most worthless tapes. They're super common, and they only ever contain Disney movies, so if you want some. This is the kit that I use. I will put a link. It's from Sayao Home. I have no idea. 4 brackets, which you really only need 3. And then enough screws and countersinks to put everything together. There's only one other thing that you'll need. That is plastic glue, adhesive for plastic specifically. The reason we like to use this stuff is because it melts the plastic and basically welds it together. It's the same thing as plastic weld. If you go to an auto parts store, get Plasti Weld, that's the same thing. Essentially, this is a liquid thin form from testers. It's for crafting, it's easy to apply, but you can also just use super glue if you wanted to. Anything that will bond these together. Step 1 of the process is to wipe off any dust or anything that you have on the tape there, and then we're just gonna also, if you use super glue, you might see some white crystallization that's a result of the way that super glue sometimes dries, especially on the clear plastic. So that's why, another reason why I maybe prefer the testers over super glue for this process. But yeah, that's it. We're gonna let it sit for like 5 minutes, and then we'll come back. One more quick note: these brackets come in packs of 4. So if you're building shelves with this method, you're going to use 3 of them. So you might as well buy a pack of 3. That way you have enough brackets to make 4 shelves. This is Tapeshelf 1.0. This is the original Tapeshelf. It only has 1 bracket underneath. You could probably actually just do 2 brackets, but I find that it's droopy if you do. So the 3rd bracket gives rigidity to the piece. There's Cricket.
Oh, and she's the best kitty. Oh, who's got a belly? Who's got a belly?
So we're going to take out a couple of screws. Ooh, is that a Y-shaped screw?
Why?
I don't know if I have a driver to take that out. That might be kind of a bitch to get out. Usually they're not. Usually they're just regular old, let's see if we can bring this to the light here. Yeah, usually you get a Phillips head. This motherfucker. I wish I had seen that before I glued these together. It's not that you can't break these apart and re-glue them, but it'll be kind of a bitch. What you're going to do now is you're going to drill holes. You're going to mount brackets. The way I like to do it is to use a pin vise, just because plastic tends to crack when you drill it, so you want to go slow, and this lets you go nice and slow. You're going to remove this center screw, or no, this center screw. This is just a hole, essentially. But you're gonna remove this screw, and I think that's it. Yeah, all the other screws stay in. But you want to take out this one particular screw, and then you're going to go in and you want to line up everything. So I use a box, just to think of a stand-in wall, and then you can just figure out where your bracket needs to sit. Once you've got your pilot holes, you can take your screws here and just hand screw them in with a screwdriver. And then you take all of these, put them in the junk box for later, because you might need them for another project. You're not going to need them for this. Yeah, here we go. So I got this one started. So you can see, you can just hand drill these once you've got your bracket in the right spot, and then just kind of back it out. I wouldn't ream it, like I wouldn't yoink it out for the the cracking plastic factor, because this stuff is just, it's a really brittle plastic. But yeah, then you just have your little pilot hole that's good enough to fit in your screw. I'm not gonna go too much bigger than this, because you do want the plastic, you want this to kind of bite in the plastic, but you don't want the hole to be so small that it's forcing it open and cracking it. So it's gonna fit in there, but it's gonna be snug, and that's what you want.
Oh my!
Make sure you don't have a Y-shaped screw in your tape, otherwise you may need a special screwdriver to remove it. You can easily avoid this by just not putting this tape in the center, using one of the other ones that generally have non-security screws. I don't know why they would do that. Gotta keep them out of that Disney vault. You just want to get that finger tight. It doesn't need to be Macho Man super duper tight. Just close enough. And you have to line it up, make sure that you're looking down and making the most perpendicular kind of into the hole that you can. And then you're just gonna go drill this straight into the previous hole, which should be big enough to work as a pilot hole for the fatter screw. So that's it. Middle bracket installed. Just that easy. Quick note about these outside brackets. You'll notice that the bracket hole almost lines up with the existing screw hole, but you don't want to use that existing screw hole. You can get the light down in here and get the focus just right. You'll see that it does actually go to solid plastic, and that's what you want to drill into. So angle your drill in a little bit back, so that you're coming at it from like that kind of an angle. It's not a super steep angle, but it's a little bit of an angle. You see that, and then undo it, and then it sits nice and straight. And these don't have to be super tight, just enough to hold on the bracket. That's number 2. Now all you gotta do is put it on the wall. When you go to put your shelf on the wall, grab a tape. Grab a tape to help account for how tall the next shelf above it is, and if you've got clamshells, you might want to account for those. We got that big old Omar Sharif up there. Just get a plumb bob or a spirit level or one of those level apps for your phone. Get yourself a pencil. Mark out those holes. Drill them. Screw them. Bada boom. Now, if there's any kind of interesting stickers, and I wish I would have put this one on the other side. This one has a little neat kind of shiny sticker. But yeah, if there's any kind of interesting stickers, I like to keep those on the thing, and I just leave the tapes wherever they were rewound to. They'll never be played again. So it's kind of an interesting time capsule of where the tape was. when it was stopped. So if you like collecting VHS tapes and you want a solution for using up, recycling old tapes you're not going to ever watch again, that even the thrift store doesn't want, then yeah, this is a cool way to get yourself some shelving. Because shelves be expensive